This is the first challenge of the CyberThreat24 Hackable badge. If we look at this, we've got a bunch of numbers. And so if we just switch over to CyberChef, you could do it on a napkin, but I've got a computer. So we're just going to take a from decimal. What we've got is just a basic numbers to alphabet. So 1 would be A, 2 would be B, so on. So CyberChef, we just need to subtract 1, just to make it based on 0, not based on 1. So that would be subtract decimal 1. And then CyberChef is treating this as ASCII. So if we just add an A, we get, ooh, almost there. So we've got letters out, but they're kind of gibberish until we do a ROT13, and there's our flag. CyberThreat24, nice and easy to start it off. And then if we hop back to the badge, we can just quickly type that in. And with the flag typed in, let's just submit it, and challenge completed. This is the second challenge of the badge, and what we've got is something blocking us as we try and run towards what's presumably the solution. If we look at the something, it looks kind of like an SD card, and the badge does have an SD card. It's actually, if you just pull out the SD card, then it falls down. But we need to get to the top of the pole, so if we stand on top of it and put the SD card back in, we can jump from the top and we get the flag. This is the third challenge, and this challenge is a nonogram. So if you've never seen a nonogram before, the numbers tell you how many solid blocks you have. So we've got a 5, so we know we've got 5 in a row, whereas in this column we've got a 1 and a 1 separated somehow. So if we look from the left, we've got 2 and a 2, so that fills that in. We can do this other 5 as well, and then we know that this one has to end in a 3, this one has to end in a 2. And then you can keep solving. There are online solvers you can use, they will just do it straight away for you. I'm going to cheat slightly because I do know the solution, which would be a bit of a surprise if I didn't. I'm going to see if I can remember the solution. And I think it should be that. There we go. So that's how you solve that challenge. This next challenge is a Simon Says puzzle. So in fact, I'll just restart it. So it's going to flash at us, and we have to press the buttons that it tells us to. Normally, these are totally random, but for the sake of the demo, we're going to see some not necessarily random patterns. And that just makes it a lot easier to demo. I would probably recommend writing it down on a slip of paper if your memory is not that great. But here we're just going up, down, left, right, up, down, left, right. Yeah. And it gets pretty long for the last one, so I honestly don't expect most people to be able to remember this. And the actual sequences are just totally random, so there's no predicting what it will do. Yep, it just keeps getting longer. I think this should be the last one. There's 5 sequences. Let's see. Ooh, come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there we go. And we're done. This challenge is a little bit different. It's going to use the LEDs, so I've switched to a different view, so just so we can see them blinking. And we can see that we need to type something in, and we've got the LEDs kind of blinking like mad. What I'd recommend is to record a video with your phone. So here we go. And then we can play back the video frame by frame, just by stepping through. And this will help kind of figure out what they're actually doing, because they're blinking a bit too fast to read. The secret here, it's Morse code. It's not that secret. I'd recommend, just for this demo, let's look at LED 4, because this is going to go dot, dot, dash, dash. You can see dash, dot, dot, dash, dash, dot, dot, dash, dash. And all of the LEDs have got a different pattern that they're blinking. And in true Blue Peter style, here's one I made earlier. So this is all of the different patterns for each LED. So if we just copy these as they are, then we hop over to a browser, and we just whack it into a generic Morse code, literally first result on Google, Morse code translator. And here we go. Help, I'm stuck. I think I typoed there, because that does actually say inside, so I actually messed up my transcription. So yeah, and our badge, we could add a slash there. the badge doesn't actually mind if you type it correctly or not with spaces. And then we can switch back to the badge and type, here we go. And so once we've typed it in, hit enter, and challenge completed. For this challenge, we're back to the larger view, and we're told to get to the origin, and we've got this kind of maze that we can walk around in. And the objective here is just to solve the maze. We need to get to 0, 0, as indicated by the numbers at the top. So for the sake of this demo, here's the actual maze, rather than having to map it out, and then I will speed through solving it. Here we go, and we're just coming up to the origin, and we solved it. And in fact, I'll just make this a bit bigger so it comes up nicely. If you just want to pause the video, there's the maze. And for anyone who enjoys just solving mazes by sticking to the left wall, you'll be glad to know that this puzzle doesn't stop you doing that, but it will just take a while because it's quite a big maze. In this challenge, we've got a code, and it's called Scanxiety. If you try scanning it with a phone or anything, it won't work. So the trick here, this is a QR code that's had its markers removed. So the first step I would suggest is to grab a photo of the code, just so we can start editing it, and then I'm going to make it black and white, and what I'm going to do is very slightly select the right layer. I'm using Photoshop here, other image editing packages are available, I just like Photoshop. Get that kind of squared up. And then if I get the crop tool, I crop it exactly there. Oh, no, I didn't mean to click that. There we go. Crop it. Then what I can do is if I scale the image down to pixels, 29 by 29, unlink. Oh, come on. 29 by 29, and then what this will do, this will make nonsense, but if we go nearest neighbour, we actually get the whole thing just as pixels, which will take a moment. I'm going to need to zoom all the way in for this. And then what we can do is we can start to draw on, using a pencil, our correct markers. So we've got, it would be handy to pull up just a known QR code as reference. In the top corner, we've got this marker, and then we have the same on the other side. So we need the white here, draw in this 3 by 3. Get that back. Oh, and these need a white border. Let's just add this one in. There we go. And then the last one down here, which will just be a moment. And then this last corner is a bit awkward. What I'd suggest is if you just count 4 pixels in, and then that is where this marker goes. That's the easiest way I find to remember it. And then just remember to remove those 4 pixels. And then to ensure it scans, you usually want a border around your QR code. So let's just bump it up a bit. Yeah, that looks alright. Make that white. And then, if I pull up a QR code scanner, which would be in workflows, yep, scan QR code, and I just scan that, there we go. Where did the markers go? And we can return to the badge and we can type that in. And that's the flag. There we go. And that's the last of the challenges that you can do on the badge. These last 2 are going to need you to connect up over serial.